All right, so based on a couple people's questions, I decided to make a video to answer 4.31, 4.33C, and also 4.37. So if you were one of those people that needed a little bit of help with those, I'm gonna do those here on this piece of paper. So here we go. I'm gonna start out with, it's getting a little, I think it's focusing for you a little bit. So I'm gonna start out with 4.31. 4.31 is asking, which of the following solutions is most acidic? 0.2 molar LiOH, 0.2 molar HI, or 1.0 molar methyl alcohol. So one thing I do want to let you know is that on for strong acids or any of the acids, notice that here we've got an OH group, here we've got a H group, and we also have another OH group. So one thing that I'd like you to think about is which one of these is going to donate a proton, not an OH, which is not a proton. So know that acids are going to be proton donors. So which one of these is going to donate an H plus? So that's number one. That's one of that is going to be this one. It is a 0.2 molar HI. Another thing that you'll also receive on the assessment, it's going to be this list of strong acids and strong bases. That will also hopefully help you determine if something's going to be more acidic or not. If for example, HI is on there, so hydroiodic acid, and it is 0.2 molar, even though 0.2 molar is the same molarity of that 0.2 molar LiOH. So because LiOH is not an acid, it is actually a base. If you look on the list of strong bases, you'll see the LiOH is on there. So the 0.2 molar HI. The next question that was requested from the book was 4.33C. 4.33C is state which of the following statements is true or false. Justify your answer in each case. So C is saying that methanol is a base. So that one, methanol is a CH3OH. Notice we have an OH group, but even though it is an OH group, we end up with a, this will not actually be donated. So then CH3OH is not a base because the OH group is not donated in an acid base reaction. So that being said, it is not a base, it is a alcohol, and it is actually considered to be a molecular compound because we got even though NH3, which is considered to be a molecular compound, it is a base, it's a weak base, but methanol is not considered to be a alcohol in this case, or it's not considered to be a base, excuse me. All right, the last one, this is supposed to be 4.33C. The last question was, several people asked about 4.37. So again, 4.37, it states here, 4.37, says classify each of the following substances as a non-electrolyte, weak electrolyte, or strong electrolyte in water. So two things that you really need to know to determine if something is a non-electrolyte, weak electrolyte, or strong electrolyte is, there was a table also in your book. You will not be receiving this in your notebook, but I'm gonna kind of bring my phone and put it right here, is that these three things for strong electrolytes, all ionic compounds, all strong acids are going to be strong electrolytes. Weak electrolytes, there are no weak electrolytes for ionic compounds. There are only weak electrolytes when you have a weak acid or a weak base, and non-electrolytes are going to be also never going to be an ionic compound, and also the molecular compounds such as CH3OH, like the last thing. So coming back to our page here, 4.37A, so we've got H2SO3. So if you were to look back to the strong acid list that you will eventually need to memorize, but for this midterm you will not need to memorize. So you've got this strong acid list that is right here, strong acid list. Do we have any H2SO3? Please notice we have H2SO4, but we do not have H2SO3. So that is going to be considered to be a weak acid. And so therefore it is going to be a weak electrolyte. Letter B is asking about C2H5OH, which is ethanol. That is ethanol. So even though there is a OH group, it is not considered to be on our list of bases, just like the methanol. So that is considered to be a molecular compound. So that is a molecular. So therefore that is a non-electrolyte. Letter C is asking about NH3. NH3 is one of the few exceptions. It is a molecular compound, but it is considered to be a weak base. At this point, I would not put something like a weak base on something to know for the assessment. For example, for NH3, you eventually will need to know the weak bases, but for right now, for this midterm, you just really need to be familiar with the weak acids, and it's basically, it is a weak acid if there's a hydrogen bonded to a molecular compound, and it will donate that proton or donate that hydrogen. Weak bases will not, they will accept a proton. That's, for example, like NH3 will accept a proton and become NH4, which is then ammonium, and it has a plus charge then. So, but we'll talk about that more in depth whenever we get to acids and bases. And so that is a weak base, so then that is a weak electrolyte. And letter D is asking about KClO3. So notice we have, that's one indicator here. K is a metal. Now you think about that one. Which one is that? That is a polyatomic ion. That is chlorate. So remember, if we have a metal and a non-metal, that is an indicator that we have an ionic compound. So that is ionic, and that is also going to be then a strong, because it will dissociate completely into ions. And lastly here, we've got letter E. Letter E is copper 2 nitrate. Here again, we've got a metal. Copper is a metal. Nitrate is a non-metal. So then we have ionic. Then it is a strong electrolyte. All right, those are the book problems that people asked about. Let me know if there's any further questions tomorrow in class.